All right, all right, all right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Market Open. It is May 30th, 2023, 9:20 a.m. I hope everyone had a great long weekend. Let me just say this. Thank you, 184 people being here in 20 seconds means the absolute world to me. Let me just say this. I don't like the days where I don't go live. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. The past couple days we couldn't go live because there was no market. Look, I don't want to say the market is part of my purpose, but the market is part of my purpose, okay? And I don't like when the market's not open because then I don't get to go live and being all serious, forgetting about the idea of the market being open. I love going live. I love talking to you guys in the morning. It means the absolute world to me. It's the best way to start my day. And yesterday, I was gonna go live and do this like, oh, I thought the market was open. I was like, that joke is so overplayed. But I need to go live. I love it. I love it so much. I love going live. I love talking to you guys. I love being here. I love interacting. I love offering some valuable service in the morning. So thank you all for being here. We are here. It's time to get back to the markets. No more relaxing, no more breaks. We are here to discuss the market. Jeff, Bot 101, Tyler Exclusive Strategies, Tomas, Sachin, Paul Gogan, Jason, Aaron C. Good morning. Jay Murph, Pang Yo, Tan, Martin, Danny, Kristen. Finally, a nice fit, Amit. Thank you. I got this when I was in high school, so I just put it on, and we're go and I said let's run with it. Michael, Michael, he hit me up on Twitter. He's like, bro, I have nothing to listen to in the gym when I'm live because your market's not open. I'm like, I have no one to talk to when the market's not open. So like, you and me, we need each other. You complete me. Okay, having said that, let's get into the market. So Palantir obviously is ripping right now in the market. We have a massive breakthrough 14. Now, why is it breaking through 14? I actually spent a lot of my morning doing some research to try to understand and hopefully give some a little bit more value on the conceptual reasons why the market is breaking through. And here's the analysis I came to. The reason Palantir is up and the reason it's getting some of this AI craze, because one could argue that the technicals do not give it the ability to be at a $34 billion market cap, is because, and I have a video coming out on this a little bit later after the market open, the market is narrowing down and consolidating into certain approaches. So, I mean, we saw the shift from growth to value back in 2022, and we saw a sort of revaluation from value to growth in 2023 as inflation came down. But more importantly, outside of inflation coming down, because inflation is still 4.9%, we saw earnings. I think we're all forgetting that 7 stocks make up 80% of the gains in the S&P 500 this year. All 7 of those stocks, S&P at 422, hitting a 52, hitting a 23, 2023 all-time high. The reason the S&P is up right now is because Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, they put up the numbers. So we're going to go through some bearish sentiments on the morning open today. I tried to get a lot of understandings of where people think the S&P is going. We have one analyst saying it's going back to 3,400, and I'm trying to understand his perspective. And his argument was like, well, if you don't have any of those 7 stocks, which is the whole point of the S&P is to diversify, right? But if 7 stocks are giving you your gains for the year, if you don't have those 7 companies doing what they need to do, you don't have the gains this year. And as much as I want to give credence to that argument, those 7 companies put up the numbers. They didn't underperform. So it's really hard for me to believe that the market is like fundamentally overvalued. And look, it might be fundamentally overvalued when the companies that matter are putting up the numbers. And until those companies stop putting up the numbers, which by the way, in 2022, they didn't put up the numbers. Facebook went from 340, I saw this happen while I was at work, to 240 like that. I saw it happen. And I had Facebook at that time, right? So like we've went through this sort of like massive decline in certain equities. And the reason they're back up is because investors didn't want to put their money in bonds. They didn't want to put their money in treasuries. They wanted to find some of those companies that were coming back. And so Palantir is getting wrapped up in this AI craze. We have NVIDIA at 400 pre-market. It's 404. This company will open at $1 trillion market cap when the market opens if it doesn't sell off. Palantir is the beneficiary of that. C3 AI is up 11% in the pre-markets. Like this is Unity is up 2% in the pre-markets. We've got Super Microcomputers up 3% in the pre-markets. Palantir up 7% in the pre-markets. It was at 1474 at one point, blasting through the 1400s. Tesla up 3% in the pre-markets. And it's going to be very interesting to kind of see how this all plays out as we get closer to what happens in the markets. Hold on. The audio should be good, Nate. So you should be able to hear me. Audio should be good. So let me know if audio is okay. It should be good. $15 is on the card today. Thank you, Such. And yeah, I mean, $15 might be on the card today. We will see. Video quality is very bad. Give it a second, guys. The Wi-Fi is being a little stupid. Let me just exit out of some other tabs to try to clear up as much as I can. The Wi-Fi is supposed to be good, but it's excited with Palantir. Yeah, that's why it's running up as much. That's why the Wi-Fi is having a hard time. Thank you to 477 people being here. We have hit 400 in the pre-markets, which is a new record for the morning stream. That deserves an early bell before we get into the real bell. Jesse, thank you for the $2 super stat. Morning, who's having a good day. And so we're going to see what happens. We are going to see what happens, how this ends up turning out. Jesse is one of the people that is taking a big bet on SoFi. SoFi is up 7.39% in the pre-markets. SoFi is, the reason it's up is because student loans are basically getting destroyed in the Supreme Court. The conservative Supreme Court is not going to pass the $400 billion student forgiveness plan that Joe Biden has. By the way, I have some student loans that would pretty much wipe out all my student loans if they wiped out that $10,000, but that's not happening. And the new debt ceiling bill that we have yet to talk about yet has negotiated that this student loan forgiveness is completely off the table. That's something that the Democrats had to give up. That's what happens in a negotiation, which means about $80 million in top line revenue is going to come to SoFi every single quarter. They've estimated to lose about $400 million over the past couple of years because of this student loan forgiveness, or basically moratorium that's been going on. And so as that changes, that's going to be a big catalyst for SoFi. And obviously the markets are recognizing that. By the way, the video should be good now, guys. I think the Wi-Fi is fixed, so it should be good right now. Amit, do you think SoFi will 10x in the next 3 years? I don't know about a 10x. I think to imagine SoFi at like 10 or 12 bucks, which is a 2.2x from here, I think is very possible. There are a lot of catalysts for SoFi. And again, we can go into those a little bit later, but they are going to be gap profitable by Q4 this year. Student loans are coming back. Member growth and deposit growth is growing phenomenally. Most of the billions of deposits they've gotten has not been because of the fallout of Silicon Valley Bank or FRC. That's what Anthony Noto, the CEO, said. It's coming because people are leaving legacy banks because SoFi is offering a better experience. And I think this is at the end of the day, this is a company that trades below price to book, and it's a $5 billion company with the CEO buying shares like crazy. And I think it's because he sees that there's a large market opportunity here. Amit, this is such an interesting comment. Sasky Rose says, Amit, you should start a podcast where each episode you read a chapter from 0 to 1 and reflect on it. You see 0 to 1 in the back right there. I was actually thinking of making a video on every single chapter. It's so funny you bring this up. I was thinking of making a video on every chapter as I was analyzing it. Guys, you want to see some? All right, I can't move my... Maybe I can move my second computer here so you can see it. You guys need to see how many tabs I have open right now. This is all over the weekend. I was doing Palantir research. Can you guys see this? You can see a little bit of it. Okay, this is my other computer. I don't want to pull it too much, but there's like 100 tabs open, and all of them have to do with Palantir. This notebook right here is filled with Palantir due diligence. Like, this run up is for shareholders that have been vigorously analyzing this company over the past 2 years, and damn it, we deserve it. Now, having said that, it still might be overvalued, but I have a video coming out a little bit later today explaining why that overvaluation kind of might make sense in the broader scheme of the market, even if it is overvalued. The good thing is, because it's testing 14 and 15, even if we get a pullback, and I think when we get that pullback, the dip will be bought a little bit more aggressively. We'll be able to just get back to those levels a little bit more easier since we've got back to, since we were able to get there in the first place. Thank you to 550 people. This is a new record. 500 in the market open. Before the market opens in 30 seconds, we will be opening the market, and man, oh man, am I curious to see what happens. I have been fiending. I woke up at 5:30. I went straight to my phone. I was supposed to wake up at 4 to see pre-market trading, but I ended up waking at 5:30. Got another hour 30 in me. And at 5:30, I checked the market, and I saw we were at 1440. And I was just like, this is unbelievable. This is happening. And we will see kind of where it goes from there. And what we get, market's at 1447, so up 6% right now. We've got 9 seconds. Let's open the stock market and bring purpose back to our miserable lives so that we can finally engage in the one thing we all care about. 9:30 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. May 30th, 2023. The stock market is open. Wake your ass up. Okay, Palantir at 1436, falling a little bit in the pre-markets, 542. The market cap is now $30 billion. NVIDIA, $1 trillion market cap. NVIDIA is a $1 trillion market cap. And as a result of that, it is staying at 404. The market cap is the price is 404. The market cap is $1 trillion, hovering between 999 billion and $1 trillion. S&P 422, 2023 high for the S&P. SoFi at 573, up 6%. Tesla 199, hitting 200. PayPal $60.70. Nothing could bring PayPal up, but this rally today finally brought PayPal up a little bit since PayPal's been going through it. Look at that. The NASDAQ, for the first time in 2023, let me make sure I'm correct on that, hits 13,000. Am I correct on that? I am correct. The NASDAQ, when was the last time we hit 13? August 16th. The last time the NASDAQ hit 13,000 was August 16th. We are here. It is, for a lack of a better word, at least the bull market for today. We'll see what happens for the rest of the week. Snowflake, not recovering from its earnings decline, fell about 20%, still stuck at about 151. Unity Software, 28. C3 AI holding on to a 12% gain. NVIDIA still at 403. Where is Palantir right now? Palantir 1438, so dropping a little bit from its highs in the pre-market, but still up 5%. Truist Financial, $31. It has broke through $30. We're at 31 on Truist. Pac West is down a little bit. Western Alliance is down. So the regionals are up. Almost all stocks are green from what I'm seeing. Alibaba is down a little bit. Walmart is down a little bit. The rest of the stuff we have is green. Google's 125, Microsoft's 333, Tattooed Chef is green at 54 cents, Amazon 122, Spotify 151, AMD 129, Robinhood breaking in on $9, JP Morgan at 137. I guess the real stars of the hour here are Nvidia, falling just below $1 trillion market cap, but now here at $995, Tesla 199, and we got Palantir still at 1432. We've got a bull market, folks. Wow, 600 people. Thank you. Thank you, 600 people being here. Really appreciate it. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you for 600 people being here. DWAC is down. LMAO, where's DWAC? What's the price on DWAC? You know, by the way, I think Trump's team is on Twitter. So even though Trump's not on Twitter, Trump's team is tweeting on Twitter. Obviously, he doesn't get the benefit of tweeting from his 85 million follower account, but his team is still leveraging Twitter. DWAC now, this is the company, this is the SPAC that controls Truth Social. This ran up to like 65 at one point. Now it is down to $13. Let's see what else we've got going on. A lot of people say the FOMO is real. Look, Enphase is still stuck. Man, Enphase is not running. Wow. I didn't even check Enphase. Yeah, well, it's up at 169. It was at 161 for a long time. Look, is the FOMO real? I think that's the question of today. That'll be the question for the next couple of days. I think there's a couple of answers to this. I think number one, yes, the FOMO is real. Would I be buying Palantir aggressively today at $14.30? The answer is no. The answer is no. I would not be buying it that aggressively because it's a $30 billion company. I still think it has to grow into some of that valuation. However, and again, this video I have coming out a little bit later might help shed a little bit more light into this. Dan Ives, one of the most respected Wall Street analysts, I listened to a lot of what he had to say today. Enphase now breaking 170. And his argument, essentially, this is the thesis of the video, right? So if you don't have time to watch the video, this is the thesis. The market is narrowing its approach in terms of the companies they want to have exposure to. And because AI is perceived as the next gold rush, that is why NVIDIA is perceived to have zero competition. The software revenues for AI can only happen if the GPUs are there to enable that software to be trained, especially in terms of these large language models. And NVIDIA is one of the only stocks that really sells this type of stuff. So when the market's looking at exposure in portfolios, they're essentially narrowing in and consolidating to 5 to 10 stocks that have AI exposure. Microsoft is up there. Apple is up there. C3 AI is up there from everything I'm reading, even though it might not have, the best fundamentals. Google is up there, obviously. Oracle is up there. Tesla is up there. Palantir is up there. And there's a couple of others that are up there as well. And so you got 5 to 10 names. Call it 15 max. And out of those 15 names, the ones that survive, that really hold on to the gains, maybe is going to be 7 or 8 of them. And so the market's right now throwing darts at the ones that they think is the best. Because to be honest, like, ask yourself logically, why would institutional investors that have ignored Palantir forever start buying Palantir? They don't give a shit about Palantir. They probably don't even know what Palantir does, but it's in the bucket. And the high frequency trading algorithms that believe that it is a AI stock are giving it the valuation that they think it deserves right now. On top of that, you've got S&P 500 inclusion that's probably going to be happening over the next year. And then you've got AIPCon that hasn't even started, and it's starting on June 1st. And when AIPCon starts, if Palantir can capitalize on the momentum of AI and really be able to market their company as the next, as part of the next fourth industrial revolution, which I believe AI is, then they're going to get the benefit of that from the market as a premium. The question is just if that's going to happen in an effective way. And we're going to see how that goes. Passion Planet, thank you for the $10 super chat. I've been watching you since day one. We learn more from the failures than successes. Enjoy this run. You deserve it. Thank you, man. And everyone who is up in this market right now and who bought the dip on some of these stocks, you all deserve it. With caution, I'm trying to be optimistically cautious because as much as I believe we deserve it, I do think a rate hike is going to happen. And as a result of the rate hike happening, there is going to be a likelihood when that rate hike happens for us to potentially have some more opportunities to get in on a little bit of a pullback. Now, the question is the market pricing in that rate hike? Just like the market has basically kind of priced in the debt ceiling negotiations, because the debt ceiling hasn't passed yet. For those that are not part of the United States, we have two chambers of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate. They have both come to an agreement. They now have to vote on that, and then it has to go to President Biden to officially sign it. It is not fully in legislation yet. And so the market is just assuming that it's going to happen. And so we're going to see, where it goes from there. Amit is so excited. He's not even lip smacking. If you guys see, I just lip smack right there. If you guys are friends of the channel, you know that I lip smack a lot. SoFi up 10%. Wow. Must be ugly sweater day, huh? Wow. You guys are mean. I wore this sweater on a date. Okay. We had sushi. We went to Jersey City. And we were by the water and she liked it. Okay. It was a couple years ago, but still she did indeed like it. Yeah. SoFi is up. SoFi is up very handsomely at 10%. Now, the SoFi gains, I don't know if they're going to hold. SoFi is one of those stocks where it gets sold off immediately. I think the catalysts have to come through, which is student loans, gap profitability, all of that stuff. When that happens, I think we're going to hold on to that. But Jesse is a great account on Twitter. I'll link him in a little bit. He has done some deep analysis in terms of the technicals, and it's very similar to Palantir. Once Palantir hit gap profitability, by the way, the reason Palantir sold off its first gap profitability, it kind of made sense to me this morning. The reason was because it wasn't gap profitable from operations. It was gap profitable from an accounting gimmick, right? Like what we showed $4 million of profit from operations, and $4 million is nothing, but we showed that the business operations are profitable, which I think is what got Wall Street started. SoFi is not going to do some accounting gimmick to get to gap profitability because they don't need to. Palantir kind of needed to in 2022, at the end of 2022. And so because SoFi is going to just be profitable from operations, I think that's going to be a major catalyst for the stock. Enphase now 172. Look at NVIDIA hitting all-time highs, now 1.01 trillion of a market cap. This is either a crazy bubble or this is the greatest reevaluation of a company we have seen in our entire lifetime. By the way, Goldman and JP Morgan all say NVIDIA to $440. So they are on the train for NVIDIA to keep going. They are on the train for NVIDIA to keep going. You said the same about Palantir not holding above $10. Yes, and let me be very honest here. I mean, I've said it. I'm going to have to eat that with pride. I said after earnings, Palantir would fall back down to 7 because I did not trust Palantir at 10. I've been proven wrong, and I don't think any Palantir investor could have anticipated a more than 100% gain since the lows at from 728 on this company. I mean, I don't think we expected it. I don't think here's the thing that we all misanticipated. This is why we all didn't buy enough at $6 or $7. All of us knew the thesis. All of us understood what was going on. None of us expected the market to fundamentally orient itself towards AI as a risk-on play and then designate billions of dollars of capital to like 7 or 8 names. None of us expected that. And we should have, because we saw the writing on the wall with ChatGPT, but obviously hindsight is 2020. But none of us expected that. And as a result of that, we didn't see that going. You keep being pessimistic. It brings us loads of like, yeah, that's why I keep saying, hey, maybe the stock's going to keep going down, because every time I say it, the stock just keeps going up. Speak for yourself. I bought 6 and 7, anything under 8. I did too. I shared a screenshot yesterday of me buying under 6. I was buying at that time, but I wasn't buying as much. And I think that's all of us. We weren't buying as much because if we knew it was going to 14 in a month, yeah, we would have bought a lot more. But I think all of us thought 14 might come by the end of the year, might come by beginning of 2024, because 14 is still a $30 billion company. When it hits 20, it'll be a $42 billion company doing about $2 billion in revenue. And the growth rate, here's the thing, guys. Here's the biggest thing. The growth rate is 18% year over year. Now, I think that's BS. I think Palantir is absolutely sandbagging, but if they're not sandbagging, they come in at 18% year over year, I think this gets revalued because you can't be growing at 18%. In 2021, they were growing 41% year over year. And so I believe Karp when he says AIP is going to bring the growth, but we got to see it to believe it at the end of the day to give them the valuation. And we'll see where it goes. But until then, we're enjoying the ride. We are enjoying the ride. 700, we hit 700. Oh, on my thing it says 693. Hold on, let me check on my phone. That's a first for the morning open to sustain it. We have 691. I got to wait for those 9 people to ring the bell. Please like the stream if you haven't, and please subscribe if you are new here. All right, let's get into some other stuff. We're going to take one more look at the market, and then we are going to get into some mainstream analysis from CNBC and look at a little bit more of the bearish stuff going on in terms of where the market thinks we are going to go. Nvidia now at 410. Palantir, wow, 1450. Okay, so we broke through 1430s. We're up 6%. SoFi up 7%. SoFi coming down just a little bit. It was up at 9%. Enphase at 173. Palantir at 1447 now. S&P at 422. PayPal 60. Look at Tesla. Congrats to Tesla shareholders. This is great. Tesla was at 160 for like 3 weeks, breaking 204. This is amazing. Let's do a poll. Oh, we hit 700. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. 700 in the morning stream. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to do a poll right now in the YouTube, on if you think this is a bubble or you think this is not a bubble. Let's see what you guys think. Bubble or not? Overall, yeah, just do bubble or not. Let's see what you guys think. Let's see the sentiment from the 700 people here on what they think. Now, thank you all for being here. Again, I missed not going live the past couple of days. Like, I hate it not going live. This is part of my morning routine. This is like working out for me. I love it. I enjoy it. It is a sport to me. It is a challenge to entertain and provide interesting information. I force myself to read more articles in the morning so I can learn about talking about more things, become more knowledgeable. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I just try to get, absorb information. So I appreciate that you all are here and giving me a chance to help entertain and infotain you in the morning. It means the absolute world to me. Okay, so let's talk a little bit as we take a last look at the charts. Palantir 1454, SoFi 582, Tesla 203, NASDAQ again breaking through 13,000. Just absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at some bearish analysis for what's going on right now. So we have some people saying that the market should be at the S&P should be at 3,400. Let's take a look at some of their logic. I think it's important to give the bears a little bit of a voice here, especially because we may be in a little bit of euphoria. And I think the one mistake we don't want to make is kind of 2020 type of euphoria. Now, the one distinction I'll make before we watch this video is in 2020, we had quantitative easing and interest rates were zero and at one point -0. That's not the case. Interest rates are far beyond zero, right? We're at 5.25%. Inflation is starting to come down, and we're in a quantitative tightening period with the Fed being incredibly aggressive. The odds of a rate hike are now at 70%, where before it was like at 18% just a couple weeks ago, based on the latest comments by James Bullard, who's the executive chair of the Fed. Now, the one other thing I want to say here is that the only reason I think that this euphoria is not literally euphoria is because the biggest companies in the world have put up the numbers when it comes to earnings. And if they're putting up the numbers, what else is the market going to do other than give them the valuations that they deserve? So while you're listening to this, the one thing I think you should take into account is that the biggest companies in the world that this guy is going to criticize have put up the numbers. He thinks that's a bear case. I think that's actually proving that in a really shitty economic environment, the companies that have been able to perform have been able to perform. So maybe they deserve the euphoric valuations they're getting.
What all this means for your markets and the money. Jason Trenner, Chairman and CEO of Strategas Research Partners, a Baird company. And start with something we probably do agree on. And did you ever notice the word progressive? Storied career.
Okay, we're going to get through all the politics stuff. Here we go.
Joe, because I think the fundamentals ultimately went out. And I think the fundamentals, as far as they're shaping up for a recession, I think the case is extremely compelling for the second half of this year going into next year. Now, again, this is the most widely anticipated recession of all time. I understand that. And I have a lot of our clients say, if this is the most widely anticipated recession of all time, why is there going to be a bear market? Everyone understands this. But if you look historically, that's never happened. Market always bottoms after the recession starts.
So that's a very important point. His argument is that the market has not bottomed yet because we haven't had the recession. Even though we're anticipating the recession, his argument is that the market bottoms after the recession starts. So we have not hit the bottom in accordance to him because the recession is coming.
And we've also had 12 or 13 years of quantitative easing, which I think has obscured people's expectations about how quickly these things happen. We've all gotten very accustomed to seeing V-shaped recoveries, V-shaped bottoms. And this is more, in my opinion, more of a traditional business cycle, which is driven by credit conditions, driven by higher long-term interest rates, Fed tightening. There may be an event at the end of this, but I think so far this is just taking time.
So the Fed's not going to be able to stabilize things as they have in the past or come to the rescue. And that means this is different than we've seen in a couple of decades.
I think the Fed put, in my opinion, for now, what would make me bullish, Joe, you asked me that before. What would make me bullish is actually if the Fed just threw up its hands and said, you know what, 4% inflation, 5% inflation is like, that's the best we're going to do. We'll do yield curve control. We'll start buying treasuries. Then I'd say you buy the market with reckless abandon. But the Fed is giving.
Notice what he's saying here. He's saying the argument, the Fed has had a 2% inflation mandate. And so because the Fed, the narrative would change for him if the Fed said 4% or 5% inflation is fine. Now, as America, we don't want to have 4 or 5% inflation, right? That's not good enough for us. So 2% is the mandate. So his argument is if 2% is the mandate, the economic scenarios going on right now, what are a couple of them? Unemployment only being at 3.7% when we need to get to 4.5%. CPI only being at 4.9, where it's getting harder to get to 2%. From 9 to 4 was easier. From 4 to 2 is harder. It's like you're losing weight, right? From 200 to 150 is easier. From 150 to 120 is a lot harder. His argument is all of that dictates the fact, and we've had 12 years of quantitative easing, that it is almost impossible to just imagine that we can get down to 2% inflation and that you should buy equities at this level without there being some type of economic disaster. Now, I'll have some thoughts on that after, but let's hear his point.
Giving you no indication that it's going to do that. The Fed is saying, listen, we have our suicide vests on for 2%. This is it. I don't think that's going to be the case ultimately. I think if they get to 3, they're going to stop tightening. But right now, the indicators that have come out over the last couple of weeks actually support more Fed tightening rather than less. And they may pause at the next meeting, but I also think that the Fed is not done by a long shot.
So if they were to do that, you would say you'd buy with both hands and be very bullish on the markets, but not necessarily the economy if inflation is still running at those levels.
It would be terrible public policy. In the same way, I think 12 years of quantitative easing was ultimately terrible public policy on so many ways. Very regressive, much better for wealthy people than the average person. Massive inflation in financial assets, terrible allocations of capital. But, a lot of policies might be good for the markets, but not great for the average person.
I would think that if we had to go to 8% instead of 5, that might give you what you're looking for. You think it's going to be that stubborn or something?
No. I don't think you're going to have to.
What kind of horrible thing would happen? Because you're saying it bottoms. You mean below 3,600? Do we need?
No, we could revisit that. We're using $200 for S&P 500 operating earnings.
And what multiple?
I think a 17 multiple. We did an econometric model,
30,
whatever that's worth.
That's
it gives you 3,400. Let's say you're in the same
3,400. That's his price target.
range as what you saw last
That
October.
would be from 4,200. That's another 20.
It's a meaningful
20% drop.
And I do think that's the risk. I really do.
1,400, or sorry, not 1,400. 3,400 is his bottom line. And so as a result of that, that's some of the bearish arguments we're seeing. Now, remember, his argument was that most of the companies that build up the S&P 500, there's only 7 of them. So the other 493 are not giving you the diversification that the S&P is poised to offer. And as a result of that, and the Fed's 2% mandate, we just can't assume that's going to happen. My counter argument is that the companies that have needed to perform have performed. Palantir up 7.45%, by the way, blasting through 1467. And as a result of that, if they've been able to perform, then it doesn't mean the market's not overvalued. It just means that this idea that we're in a 2020 bubble and we're looking for a 20% decline on the S&P, I don't know if that's happening, especially with inflation coming down. Because yes, inflation's a little sticky at 4.9. We got trueflation at 2%. But by December, if inflation's at 3.8%, you think the S&P deserves to be 20% down? Again, someone had a great comment. Palantir was at $5 at one point. If that's not a bottom, I don't know what is. Does it deserve to be at 1460? Maybe. That's depending on market forces. But does it deserve to go back to 5, which is an entire macroeconomic downturn? I don't think so. I think the bears got that one wrong. I truly do. You're easily the best market open. You're able to cover news and get ideas out there in a quick, clear, concise manner. You deserve success. Thank you, T, so much for the $9.99 super chat. That means the world to me. All right, we got someone here. He's a crowd favorite, and he is here coming live from his car because I asked him to be on this morning open, and he is here, rain or shine. Adam, what's up?
What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing today?
Everyone's doing well. We have 725 people here. When did you wake up and when did you check Palantir's price today?
Okay, so I refused to check Palantir's price until I went on the show. So besides for pre-market, the very first time I heard about Palantir was when you said we blasted through 1465 or whatever just now. So I like to give genuine reactions. I'm super happy. I am officially positive on Palantir. I believe you are.
Let's go.
I believe you're very close, and bro, what's happening right now is really interesting. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but yo, what's up? Yo, what's up, everybody? So I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, but I got a little bit of a thesis also. Like, listen, guys, inflation is going to be going down a little bit more. Yo, shout out to everybody in the crowd. Inflation is going to go down. Two reasons. The first reason is now that the student debt is coming back and people got to pay their bills, they don't need to be bums anymore, or they can't afford to be bums anymore because there's repercussions. And us as a society is degrading. You know, we're decaying, that there's no repercussions. And that's why people don't want to work hard. That's why AI is necessary, because people are fucking bums. In any case, that's gonna force people to spend less because they have no more discretionary funds. That's one. And two, that nobody's catching on the debt ceiling. They literally said, what's up, Tyler? They literally said the excess capital left from COVID relief, we're going to take away. Now, people don't understand.
By the way, Palantir at 14.84. We're 15 cents from 15. Go ahead.
Let's go. People don't understand what that means. I'm personally dealing with it. People are applying for these COVID reliefs, like for real estate, and I can't get paid on my fucking rent, and I can't kick people out. Like, I literally can't even get in front of the judge until I get a denial or approval. And I have videos where I'm calling the federal government, and the federal government, I have it on video, is saying, you're fucked, bro. Like, they're like, we're not giving you money, but we're not denying you. So now this is going to cause more deflation because people have less money because they have to pay bills. It'd be very interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think this goes against everything. This deflation point is such a good point because we've been saying AI is deflationary. I think, simple example for you and me, we're using ChatGPT to help make us make more content. If we make more content, we can become more productive, ultimately have more opportunities to make money in the future because there's, an influx of productivity. That's a simple example of how ChatGPT is making our lives as content creators deflationary. That's happening at scale across every industry. So when this guy gets up and says S&P to, 3,400 because we haven't hit a bottom yet, in order for that bottom to happen, there has to be a massive recession. And if AI has any implications in robotics, in genomics, in enterprise software, you could imagine there's a level of deflation baked into the fact that, as you said, CPI is already going lower, which means I don't know if we get this S&P to 3,400 like some people on the street are calling for.
So I was literally talking to my friend. My friend is in finance. I'm not going to talk about the field, but he is in finance. He holds a position of good management. Let's call it like that. And we were talking about the economy and, look, if 5 or 7 companies hold like 80 or 90% of the value of the S&P, yes, people are going to get wrecked for sure. However, like there's going to be a lot of real estate that's going to drop right now, right? Because loans have to be refinanced. However, whatever people are going to lose right now, the finance, houses are going to lose right now, they're going to make up multiple X's in trickle down. Why? You have these main 7 companies that are going to use AI to become even more productive. They're going to become even more lean. They're going to fire even more people. But the people that are going to stay are going to get bonuses, rate hikes, more benefits.
Yeah.
Partners, right? Now partners are going to be growing too, right? It's not just those main companies. It's whoever they work with, right? The producers of everything. Literally the freaking pen company that sells you pens or whatever, sticky notes, whatever. All are going to make money, which means all these employees, all these subcontractors are all going to be buying more properties, homes, so on and so forth. And that's how the economy is going to be, revitalized. And a lot of people are going to lose, but there's going to be a lot of winners. That's my thesis.
No, I think your thesis is correct. It makes a lot of sense. Jesse, thank you for the 99-cent super chat. By the way, guys, someone was asking about in the chat, YouTube finally allowed me to open up channel members. It's $5 a month. If you want to join, you can go on YouTube. There's probably a join button near the subscribers. And I officially opened it today. So if you want to join, that's great. If not, that's totally fine. But $5 channel memberships are open today for those who are asking. You guys can join. Alex says, I had 1,000 shares, but sold about 400 just to buy Tesla at 120, kept about 590 shares. I'm at a cost base of about $10. It's going to be interesting. Which stock will outdo the other? It's going to be very interesting, and the interesting thing here is I don't think Palantir has the fundamentals like Tesla, but Palantir has the market cap that's way lower than Tesla. And for it to get a nice aggressive move to $20, $30, again, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that's more likely than Tesla to go from 200 to 270, 300, right? That's just another couple $100 billion in market cap, whereas for Palantir, it's a couple tens of billions of market cap. And so that's what we're seeing there.
Yet. They don't have the fundamentals.
They don't have the fundamentals yet, correct. A couple more quarters of gap profitability.
I also want to give some context to what's happening. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it is much closer today than it was 6 months ago. They're going to help reconstruct Ukraine. This is not me making this up. This is not me, talking about rumors. This is official from Ukrainian government, like a top 5 level person in the Ukrainian government shouting this out. At whatever level you want to call this, they're doing 3 things: defense, reconstruction, and making Ukraine a technological hub of Europe. Think about what that means. Just like, seriously, listen to what I just said. What exactly does that mean? What categories does Palantir play in? The main 3 categories: commercial, military government, and non-military government. Now listen to what I just said. Palantir, officially from Ukraine, Ukraine's words, not mine, is going to help Ukraine defense, right? That is going to be Palantir government military. Reconstruction, which would be Palantir government non-military, and become a technological hub of Europe. What does that mean? They're going to be doing commercial business with the biggest companies in Ukraine.
Correct.
Right? Like,
that's such a good point. I didn't even think of that. For those that are missing out what Adam said, we had a press release last week about we are controlling the digital reconstruction for Ukraine. I didn't even think about that, Adam. There is a shit ton of commercial enterprises that are going to start again in Ukraine. I met a buddy of mine at the park the other day, and he has a marketing company in Ukraine, 140 employees that can't go to work because they're getting fucking bombed, right? And so he's like, once that stops and commercial enterprises start growing again, Palantir has an opportunity to become a household name in Ukraine and potentially help a lot of those businesses go to market.
And guys, I don't know if you guys know, Ukrainians are mad smart. Some of the best engineers are in Ukraine right now.
Most of the world outsources to Ukraine. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of those, that stereotype, oh, Jews are mad smart. A lot of those Jewish people are Jewish Ukrainian people. I'm just letting you guys know I'm Jewish. I know what I'm talking about on this.
Adam can say all of this because he's Jewish.
Yeah, but I'm just giving you guys some data that there's so many smart people in Ukraine. And bro, they're tired of the shit. They're tired of this Soviet oppression, including till right now. And they're tired of a lot of misused funds. They want to live better. So it's going to be very interesting. So if they have this, Palantir now has America on lock, because America's all going to be running to Palantir after this. And I'll tell you why in just a moment, my opinion. They're going to have Ukraine on lock, and every company is going to be using Palantir from there. Like, I'm over exaggerating, but a lot of companies. And they're growing in the UK. This is massive that they didn't have before.
No, this is huge. Adam, let me get your thoughts. Thank you, Jesse, for being a channel member, and the $20 super chat means the world. Let me ask you about NVIDIA. Do you believe it deserves to be $1 trillion company right now?
No, I don't believe it. I think it's overvalued, but at the same time, I wouldn't bet against it. But, people are just saying, look.
So why is Palantir not overvalued if NVIDIA is?
NVIDIA and Palantir are overvalued today based on what we know today. What's going to happen in the future, we don't know. But if everything is correct about NVIDIA, and I didn't go into too much detail, but from my understanding, all the big boys, all the cloud providers, those heavy hitter companies are all purchasing hardware specifically geared towards a buildup of AI technology.
Correct.
NVIDIA is the only game in town, and a very distant second would be AMD.
That is correct.
So Karp says there really is no number 2 to Palantir. However, if you had to pick up number 2, because there is, but technically they're not even close, it would be Israel. But nobody's running, right? So there is a number 2, but they're not number 2. So that's kind of where AMD is. Yes, AMD is by de facto number 2, but they're not going to be able to pump out what NVIDIA does. So who knows what's going to happen in the future? Adam,
I want to get your thoughts on this. You did a video on this yesterday. I did a video on this. Well, I'm going to link your channel. Everyone can watch his video on Palantir's opportunity in healthcare. The NHS is a national healthcare system in the United Kingdom that has 67 million people that are dealing with a pretty inefficient system. And this is what everyone in the UK has told me. What are the implications? Like, we're talking about Palantir, the reason I bring this up is because overvalued, undervalued, right? Palantir, $30 billion company. Let's say Palantir is able to get a contract with the NHS that they're up to grab, to forget the money, but they're going to be able to transform and digitally transform a system that controls 70 million people's health. How do you think a deal like that, outside of the financial implications, can mean something to live up to Palantir's valuation from a qualitative perspective as people try to analyze the company and what it's doing right now?
So you got to go a little deeper, right, to understand it. Number one, that's going to show that Palantir can persevere, and they have grit. which means that against all adversity, against all odds, and against all the red tape of everybody hating Palantir, they're still able to get something done because their technology is just that good.
Correct.
It's like, yo, how many times do we hear Carp says it and people say, yo, we don't even like Palantir, but we use them because there's nobody else. Like, we must use Palantir. So on that point, that's amazing because Palantir's technology is going to be fantastic. Number two, they ain't leaving Palantir in 5 years. They are not leaving Palantir in 5 years. Merck, the German Merck, not the American Merck, which I made a mistake. Somebody pointed that out. Just increased their partnership with Palantir, and a lot of people didn't see that article. Palantir,
Yep.
From the Discord, the Palantir Discord came out with it, and basically they said that we've been working with Palantir since 2017. That's 6 years ago. Remember what Carp says. Now, bro, you connect the dots. Carp says we build shit 5 years in advance because technology today, software today that others are building barely works for today, let alone 5 years in advance. Everybody thinks this is a lie. This is bullshit. But it's not just smoke up your ass. Think about it. The guy from Merck literally says we're working with Palantir since 2017, which led to us making new partnerships with Palantir because their platform works so good.
Right. And let's actually hear Rishi. This is from Adam's channel. I'm putting the link in the description in the chat right now. This is Rishi Sunak, the new Prime Minister of the UK, literally speaking about how Alex Karp is speaking in terms of using data and technology in an obvious manner to solve some of the biggest problems of our time.
Part of it actually is having more data and technology around management of your backlog in its entirety is clearly and obviously good thing to do. And again, it's what I was saying before. It sounds kind of obvious. Okay, we should use some technology to help us analyze our waiting list and then organize ourselves in the most optimal way. That doesn't actually happen everywhere, right? I mean, and that's part of our job, is to spread that best practice. There's a couple of different systems, Foundry is another one. There are a few different systems that do a really good job of exactly what you're saying. Chelsea and Westminster is another trust which used some IT, which made a 28%, almost a third reduction in their backlog just by organizing for them. It was cleaning through their list, then organizing their theatre. All of you, the nurses who have to work in theatres, there's like optimizing your theatre list on a day-to-day basis, managing the cancellations, right? That is so important. And again, the technology can really help us do that.
And we've got a prime minister who actually is embracing technology, which is a great thing. That was a great clip that you found and you put up there.
Yeah, like how do you doubt them? How, it's so crazy. I've never seen anybody come out and say Palantir didn't work. I've never seen anybody come out and say Palantir is shit. I've never seen anybody come out and say there was a data breach because of Palantir. Yeah. Literally, there was a data breach for the NHS recently about Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. And these fools, straight up, not even fools, buffoons, but fucking fooneries, are worried about Palantir's security and Palantir's data breaches. Meanwhile, Merck comes out and says, guys, Palantir's security is of the utmost importance. He says it. He's like, not only that, they're literally making automatic fail safes that if something happens automatically, it'll do this. It's so crazy. Meanwhile, right. You have prime ministers who are talking about Palantir. You have the highest level. Let's rewind. Guys, who's familiar in the crowd with the Federal Advisory Board, besides for me and Amit? Federal Advisory Board of Palantir. Is everybody aware what this is? Does
People
everybody
forgot
know
about this one? Only the OGs remember this shit. Yeah.
So Palantir has a Federal Advisory Board. The people on the Federal Advisory Board, and I'm not making this up, you guys can look at the people. It is made up of, these people would fall in the top 500 people of the most powerful people in the United States. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about Secretary of States, generals, admirals, judges, congressmen, and these are not just low-level people. These are high-level ranking people within Congress, Senate, military. These are the people that are advising Palantir. Bro, general, admiral, vice admiral. Just look at the names. And these are just some of them. They have more.
Yeah.
So, where's the Federal Advisory Board for Snowflake and Datadog and C3AI? Where are they? Why is Rishi Sunak not coming out and talking about, wow, they reduced wait times? Because they don't. It's not on the same fucking level. There's levels to this shit.
Now, as we're saying this, and as bullish as we are, you and me are not buying this stock at $14, correct?
No.
So that's the one caveat I want to give here. As bullish as we are, and we're doing a little bit of qualitative analysis right now, we're not buying this at 1434. If you ask me right now, Amit, are you buying? No, I'm not. Because I think on the technicals and on the fundamentals, it's a little, not on the technicals, more on some of the fundamentals, is a little bit overvalued right now. I think it can grow into the valuation. Here's the kicker. So Adam, let me get your thoughts on this. We've got AI Pecan. This will be the last 5 minutes on Palantir, and then we'll get back to some of the stuff going on in the market. AI Pecan on Thursday. We haven't even began the momentum on what's going on with AIP. What are your expectations for AIP going in on Thursday?
Bro, did you see the guy? Did you see my share about Sampo? About the AI? Go on my Twitter for just a moment, please.
Okay.
So we can visualize this. Guys, Palantir has the smartest community. I think we even outweigh Tesla. Like, seriously, we have one of the best communities out there. And I want to give a shout out to SoFi community, which I'm shocked is so large. I am shocked.
I'm shocked every day how large it is as well. It is insane.
It's crazy. Like, SoFi is either the same or even bigger than Palantir. So look, check this out. Shout out to Jorgen. He found this. This is their deck slide. And this is from Sampo. And look over there on the bottom left, they're talking about what they were expecting. And then they said what they got. You see the red is what they got on the left.
On the left. Yes, actual. So they planned for 9 billion and they got 12.3. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. And if you look on the top, it says contribution of digital transformation. So you're like, okay, well, that's nice, fancy words, but what the fuck is that? And how does this help us? And then the road.
Adam, we can't hear you.
They wrote
it. Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead. We lost you for a second. Did we lose him?
Yeah, sorry. Somebody called me.
You're good.
Yeah, so if you look on the right-hand side, they literally explain what was the drive for digital transformation. So needless to say, they will be part of this AIP on June, I'm assuming. But bro, like, what else do you want? Like, so you have this company, you have BP that's saying that this is happening because of Palantir. You have Jacobs that is saying that. You have Merck that literally said that. Like in their last, like, all of a sudden the marketing for Palantir is, I guarantee you, they call their clients and they're like, you guys mind giving us a shout out since we're the ones helping you? And they are. So how can you doubt the company? So I think this AIP I know you're getting excited too now, right? It just makes sense.
I'm excited. It's going to be interesting. What is your thesis? Someone asked in the chat, please explain why it's overvalued. What would be your quick 30-second synopsis for why you think it's overvalued? Let me get mine real quick. I think this run-up is not happening. This run-up has never happened 100% in a month for Palantir, ever. The only reason is because the market is transitioning and consolidating into AI plays, which is all the backlog we're getting from NVIDIA. That's why I believe it's overvalued, because I believe it's short-term momentum. That doesn't mean Palantir can't grow into it, but this buying was not happening because the market just, gap profitability, S&P 500, that's great, let's keep buying. No, we got a 30% bump from 7 to 10 on earnings. That's pretty decent. But from 10 to almost 15, that's something else. And I think as a result of that, that's kind of why it's overvalued right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're overvalued because, when we all bought into the stock, and I saw you talking finance junkies. That was the best episode you guys had so far. I think the last one you had. And somebody asked you, well, why did you buy at that price or something like this? And you're like, well, first of all, I didn't understand the valuations at the time. But most of all, at the time, they were growing 40+% a year.
Correct.
So
that's the other thing. They're growing a company cannot be growing 18% year over year, and we give it a massive premium. It's just not a growth stock. We can't do that.
And 18 is a massive beat. We're supposed to be growing 13% right now. 13%. We got 18. Our next earnings, if we don't surprise with an 18, which they didn't guide for, we are going to be fucked, and it's going to go backwards really, really fast. So,
and that's just kind of what Sachin is saying. He says Palantir's not overvalued. It's the risk of significant correction after. This is what I would agree with. Maybe overvalued is the wrong word. My argument here is that there is a little bit of a AI craze going on right now, which could justify a proper valuation because if we all believe Palantir is a pure play AI company. But the risk of a significant correction, as you're saying, Adam, next quarter it comes out, barely any growth, and the market's like, what the fuck? We thought you were like, these are people buying it. They don't know what the fuck Palantir is. They're just like, oh, it's AI. We'll buy it. It's growing. And then they come out with earnings and they barely grow quarter over quarter, barely get to gap profitability, make $8 million from operations. That's nothing in the market's $8 million in profit. They sell it off. That's why a significant correction could happen, not to mention rate hikes that are on the way as well.
So yeah, I want to add to that. Shout out to Sachin, by the way. If you guys don't follow him, he has a lot of knowledge. He's really, really cool to listen to be quite honest. But I'm gonna say the same thing as I was saying for a while. Based on everything we know today, may be overvalued,
Correct.
but not about tomorrow. For example,
Correct.
AIP comes out, next quarter comes out, and all of a sudden people are really doing what Carp said, right? Carp says, I've never seen this much, want for this platform. And don't underestimate ChatGPT. People are understanding what it is right now, the bottom line of artificial, the base case of artificial intelligence. And all of a sudden they could come out and be like, yo, we signed up so many more clients than we thought because of this. Now all of a sudden we grew into this overvaluation or whatever you guys want to call it, right? But the price of where we are right now. So we have a chance to grow into the hype. And who's to say what is valued, overvalued, undervalued? It's all in the eye of the beholder.
And I think, Amit, you're missing the new normalization of higher multiples for AI-based growth. I think me and Adam agree that the new normalization of higher multiples for AI-based growth is here. But again, that last word in that sentence, growth. We got to grow. We got to get there. And look, I'm okay. Look, if Palantir doesn't get to 22% year-over-year growth, I'm okay as long as I think, just like stock-based compensation, I was fine as long as I thought you were spending it on the right people. If you're trying to build out this AIP platform and you're going to grow in the future, I'm fine giving you that time. The question is, though, when do you capitalize? And even Sachin has said this. If they don't come out one day, 1 year, 1 quarter with a 60% revenue growth beat, there's not a growth story. And so all of us are trying to do as much analysis as we can to believe that's going to happen, just like it happened with NVIDIA, just like it happened with Microsoft in its heyday. And you got to get in now. You can't ride the train when it's up because you can't buy NVIDIA 390, right? You got to get in there when it's a little bit lower. And so that's the analysis we're doing right now, but we got to see if they get there. And I believe Karp, when he says AIP demand is growing, AI is the infrastructure that's going to control the world. And then it's just a question of Palantir fits into that. And we'll see if that happens. Dude, they are building digital twins for countries. Growth will be there. Look, I agree. It's just not literally here right now, right? This is the only thing I'm saying.
We're not bearish. We're super bullish. I don't want anybody to misunderstand us. And I believe it could keep running up. I'm just saying the same thing Ahmed is saying. Growth will be there. Multiples in growth. Now, if we come out the next earnings, which is possible that AIP came in and all of a sudden we grew 30% instead of,
then we're going to have one of those days where it's an NVIDIA day after hours.
Yeah,
right?
that's what we're saying, guys. Don't misunderstand what me and Ahmed are saying, that, we have our opportunity. We're on stage to have our moment. This is, like 8 Mile, right? This is the shit. This is what the fuck we were grooming for. This is not the Black Swan event. Today, this is the event that we were waiting for. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out on your calls of SoFi. I missed it by like 30 minutes. I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, those SoFi leaps are up right now. And I that's such a good point. If for anyone who's watched 8 Mile, there's a moment where you got to get on stage and you got to rap your ass off. This is the Eminem biography. And it's like this AIP moment. This is why Karp, I think on that earnings call, he said, we don't have a strategy. Our strategy is to take the market. This is now. And now it's a question of if he can deliver on what he's saying. And I'm going to give him a year to deliver. I don't expect it in a couple quarters, even though I think he realizes that if they don't get it in the next couple quarters, they might be behind because it's happening now. It's this moment. And I think the market's also being like, well, if it's this moment and they're going to grow the way we think they're going to grow, just like NVIDIA, if you bought it at 250, which people were saying was massively overvalued, which it theoretically was, but they were able to guide 60% more revenue, $4 billion more dollars. It was their moment. And if this is Palantir's moment and they show the numbers, it's going to be massive. We just got to see if it happens. Tyler, Exclusive Technology, thank you for the $9 super chat. $9.99. That is super, super awesome. A movie reference that Amit gets. Yes, I actually love that movie. That movie is awesome. Sachin says, generational companies are built with big daddy earnings and revenue beats quarter over quarter, year over year, opening new markets, accessing new customers, and healthy pipeline of new products. And Sachin has said this for a long time. We've got to get those big daddy earnings. The market's giving us the premium, thinking we're going to get there. And now we got to follow through. And we'll see.
One more statement really fast. Microsoft has competition. Microsoft and Google compete against each other. Amazon has competition. They all compete in the cloud services. NVIDIA does not really have as much competition. AMD, maybe, in AI. Palantir does not have the competition. Snowflake is not competition. C3 AI is not. Databricks, they cannot do it on a national level. So,
or even international level. I mean, like, as you said, Snowflake is not. Yeah, Snowflake's not helping Ukraine reconstruct itself. I mean, like when you talk about software companies providing value, I don't know how much more. I don't know how much we have to bang the table to be able to say this is valuable. You know. And so it's
but not as valuable as Bed Bath and Beyond.
of course.
3 shampoos for 10.
That 3 for 10 was amazing. That 3
Yo,
for
these
10.
idiots call Palantir a meme stock, comparing it to Bed Bath and Beyond. Like, bro, it's so crazy, and we're being co-signed by the highest authorities in several governments, not just one. Like, it's so absurd what people are saying. It's just fucking absurd. And how much money do people lose by listening to anti-grifters about grifters? How much money did people lose by not investing in certain stocks because of listening to doom and gloom and everything's a meme?
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
like-
look, when this shit was $5-6 and you had everything money say it was going to 3, they're now super bullish on Palantir, by the way, that YouTube channel. But they said it was going to 3 at 5-6, and that's when I was just like, all right, this is a joke, because this is just we can't have these types of conversations anymore, you know? Because at this point, you're just discounting everything from a qualitative perspective and only looking at numbers, and that's just not the right way to do it. Adam, do you think Amit will go Hulk and rip his sweater off after hitting $15? I might have to do that on stream.
I actually wanted to make a bet, like if Palantir hits 20 before end of year, Amit's gonna shave his hair, not the beard, his hair. And I honestly think Amit would agree to that.
I think it might hit 20 though. I think, bro, it could hit 20 by the end of the next.
That's the point.
Summer.
We're doing a serious bet. Oh, by the way, where's Chris, bro? I want my $2,000. I want my two
yeah.
G's.
So those that don't know, Chris and Adam had a bet on which one's going to outperform Snowflake or Palantir, and we know which one's outperforming. We by a margin, by a wide margin.
I think I'm up like 40% right now on that bet. At one point, I was down 40%. Believe it or not, Palantir made an 80% gap altogether. Speaking of which, I put my money where my mouth is. I was going to make the same exact bet with Sasha when he sold out. And I was going to do a $5,000 bet with him.
Sasha's. So I met, by the way, I'm putting Adam's YouTube channel in the description right now. You guys can go follow him. Sasha, I met with people don't know this story. I met with an investment fund that manages $100 million. They own a couple million of Palantir. I've said this publicly, and their average is at $5. They're so important they got invited to FoundryCon in Palo Alto a couple of months ago. The guy at that hedge fund or investment fund, whatever you want to call it, it's not a hedge fund, but you know what I mean. He said he watched Sasha's videos on YouTube. He consumes a shit ton of Palantir content, right? Because they got it at a $5 average, right? They have clients and like all this. So he consumed. That's how he found me. That's why he invited me to his company just to talk. And he said Sasha had the best analysis out of all the people he's seen on Palantir's shitty earnings. And it got him close to thinking of selling when he saw Sasha's video, but he didn't do it because I was like, well, so why didn't you sell? And then he looks me dead in the eye. He's like, my fucking heart believes they're going to pull it off. I mean, he's like the technicals, the numbers, the SPAC losses. He was going off about it. He like 30 minutes, he shits on Palantir. And I'm like, so why haven't you sold? He's like, I just think they're going to figure it out. And so, you know, Sasha got out at $8-9. He had to be patient for like 2 more quarters and they would come back. But
bro, it's so funny. A quick story too about that. I have people also that are like in finance, like up there, and people call me about Palantir, like, yo, Adam, what do you think about Palantir? And I'm like, bro, you guys are literally funds. Like, why are you asking me, bro? I'm like,
bro, they got me lunch. They got me all this food. I'm sitting in this big ass conference room like I'm a fucking CEO, and they're asking me about Palantir, and I'm giving them my thoughts and shit. And they're like, yeah, when it gets to 2024, our biggest problem is going to convincing our clients to not sell. Because he's like, we have clients, and at 2024, that's a 5x for them because their average is 5. And he's like, we're going to have to figure out how to convince them to keep this fucking company and not let us sell it off because, you know, they have obligations.
And they take 20% of the gains.
Yeah. And so, you know, the guys, they have $100 price target on it. So they believe it's a runner for a while. And they, you know, we're talking about the industry consolidation. They pulled up a tab from their exclusive research of like 100 to 200 AI plays. And they put them in all these buckets. They did this like proprietary research, and they showed me at the end, there's only like 5 of them that survive, and Palantir was in their list. And that's why they're so bullish on Palantir, because they're looking at all these companies. They're like, Amit, that one's going to die. That one's going to die. That one has no moat. That one's a private company. That one's overvalued, blah, 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 blah. They're like, Palantir is the one we believe in out of all 100 of these through all their fucking research. And they're like, that's why we called you here to talk about it, because we want to get more perspectives on if other people feel the same. And so it's a good thing they didn't sell when Sasha sold, because they're up a little nicely right now.
I'm surprised he didn't make a like, bro, I would love all these people that make bad videos on them, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, to come back and be like, I was right in my analysis. Congratulations, everybody. I'm super happy people made money. Like, bro, it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, look, I love Sasha. I mean, he's a fine guy. I did an interview with him. I have a podcast with him on my channel. If you type in Amit Sasha, I think he's a cool guy. It's just he was so bullish on Palantir, and then he just rips it to pieces when it has one bad quarter, and he's like, "It's never coming back. I'm fucking out of this." Blah 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 blah. What other better opportunity could you have gotten when Palantir he sold it off at $8-9 that would be up more than 100% right now? I mean, like, what better opportunity? Maybe Nvidia, but no, he if he was selling Palantir, he's not buying Nvidia. Tesla wasn't $100 at the time. Maybe Hims, but like that wasn't on his radar. So what other stock are you putting your Fiverr? Like, come on, what stock are you putting your money into when you sell off Palantir? It's the same thing with Kathy Wood. What other stock are you putting your money into when you sell off 37 million shares?
I like Sasha's content. He's funny. He's funny in a non-comical type of way.
We're at 1490, 9%. Wow.
Nice.
Oh, man. I want to stay on for like a couple more minutes. Let's see if we break 15. I don't know, though. It's going to be tough to break 15. Sasha sold because he didn't like how Karp pounded the table. No, this is actually correct. Sasha hated how Alex... And see, Adam, this is where you and me have to pat ourselves on the fucking back. Because I think you and me were the only people, and Jay as well, I'll give him credit because he was pounding the table. There was like 3 or 4 of us, maybe, and maybe I'm forgetting some other names, but forgive me for that were saying Karp is a visionary. This motherfucker knows what he's doing. All of you people getting mad that he's banging the table. I want my CEO to bang on the table. Like, we were the ones embracing it. And I think he's showing us what it means to be a real fucking visionary CEO. And I think we deserve at least a little bit of credit for believing in our guy, because
bro,
I think there were not a lot of people believing in him.
Let me tell you something. I had a really, really bad 2022. And I sold out of a lot of positions, crypto, stocks. I made sure I did not sell a single Palantir share. It was so conviction play, bro. I was clenching my butthole, bro. But I did not, bro. Like I did not sell a single share of Palantir and kept DCAing. One of the most difficult conviction plays of my life.
All right, I usually buy 1 share. I'm buying 2 shares. I'm buying
That's
2. Let's do it right now on live. Let's see if that gives us any bit of the momentum to get us through 15, 1484. Spent $30, 2 shares on Palantir. Yeah, man, I think, look, a lot of people thought Karp wasn't going to figure this shit out. And I'm like, are y'all kidding me? 1 bad quarter and you guys get scared? You doubt the guy that you like. Karp got people invested in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. He grew his company. Look, if you listen to his old interviews 10 years ago, one very interesting thing is he never spoke he didn't do that before. That happened 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't know why, but I've been noticing it, and I called it out in his old videos. He speaks clear as day, no hiccups, no stuttering. But he's been saying this since day one. Over 10 years, we're going to grow 30%. Some years we're going to grow very little. Some years we're going to grow very a lot. And he's like, I know this because we have cycles, and we've been doing this for the last 20 years. Guys, it is what it is. If ever, this is the moment that they're going to grow in the next, decade. And if not, then our thesis is broken. I mean, but if it's not broken, we are going to make a lot of money. Not financial advice. I'm not qualified, nor do I want to give any financial advice. My personal opinion from me.
Thank you, 700 people, for still being here in the live stream. George, channel member, says, don't worry, all the haters will be buying our streams when we take profits. That is correct. Jay said he was about to sell after Q1. CodeStrap talked him off the edge. Wow. I didn't know you were that close, Jay. Well, Jay did on Twitter. He was very bearish after the earnings where they first showed GAAP profitability, and rightfully so. I mean, the growth kind of sucked. But I didn't know you were about to sell.
It's hard.
It's hard to maintain conviction, man. It's hard. And CodeStrap, I spoke to him a couple of months ago, and he was just telling me that he's buying this. He likes the company. Like, it was just like, I'm bullish. And he had zero. He said, yeah, the sales kind of sucks, but like, they'll figure it out. And he's like, I'm bullish. And so that's it.
And we're just waiting for final confirmation. We're going to let everybody know, but just understand there's some big names, public names that are behind Palantir that possibly maybe are going to be coming on the show soon.
Well, actually, I just got a text. June 7th, 9:40 Eastern Standard Time. We are going to have a pretty big guest on our show. This is a guy who has been bullish on Palantir. He's been on CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business, and he has agreed to come onto our morning stream. So
yeah, and then we just have one one request. Everybody in Palantir community, from Twitter personalities to YouTube personalities to anybody, let's work together to really promote this. It's not about one platform over the other. Let's really promote Palantir, because if we can get this person on the show, which he's coming, it's confirmed, this is going to lead the way to other huge names. And imagine we have a Palantir community that have literally public personalities contributing to our little local community. So we're just asking everybody to share the tweets, the likes of this specific show to promote it. So we have at least 1,000 people here to show people like, yo, Palantir is what's up. The community is strong. So we get people attracted to the show and talk about Palantir.
It'll be on June 7th, guys, so I'll tweet it around next week and we can start promoting it. But it'll be fun. I think you guys will enjoy it. It'll be it's the first time I've had a mainstream guest ever decide to come on to our show. And shout out to Adam. He connected the whole thing. He hooked it up somehow. He figured it out how to get this person on here. So
crazy shit.
All right, 1478. Sachin says you need diamond balls to hold Palantir. Let's see what Twitter's doing. Let's see. I haven't even checked Twitter.
Bro, I got a diamond butthole, bro. I was puckering so much, bro. I didn't take a shit for like 3 weeks at one point. I was like, what the fuck?
We got Andrej opening a SoFi position, so we got him hooked on the bandwagon. We got him 1,400 shares. He's in. Palantir surging. What do you say?
I'm in SoFi.
You're in SoFi now as well. Yeah, I've got some options on SoFi. We got Palantir from Chad. Good morning. Say it back. Nice little meme. He's so good with the memes. It's awesome. Whoever bought $22 covered calls for $3 each. Yeah, some people with their covered calls. Hopefully it's not at 15 or 14. You have those covered calls on. Palantir, we're trying to get it to 15. That's why the Palantir Twitter community is also very nice, because we got a bunch of people just constantly tweeting and talking about it. Yeah, look, I think, and everyone woke up in the morning. We were like, wow, Palantir's up, and it's up pretty high as well.
Oh, and I want to just say F you to the person that I did a Twitter post. I'm like, oh, Palantir is like 14.14 in German markets. He's like, be careful, German markets volume small. Tomorrow, down. Like, yo, shut the fuck up. I'm just making a statement. It's up in German markets. That was literally the whole statement. And it's like,
you know, we literally matched exactly what the German market pricing was as soon as we opened this morning, which is crazy. That's crazy. Oh, man. All right. So I think that's it. I've got to go to a appointment. So I got to be out. I was supposed to leave like 20 minutes ago, but had to stay longer. First of all, thank you, 700 people. Let me put Adam's Twitter right now in the description in the chat. Please, please, please follow him. He is just amazing. All things finance and Palantir, now SoFi, him, a bunch of great stuff. So I put his Twitter here. Please give him a follow. He'll be here probably later this week, another time or so. And then next week, we'll be on with the special guest that we'll reveal next week, who's a more mainstream guest. This has been cool. This has been awesome. DNA is up as well. I don't have a DNA allocation anymore. DNA is up 18 cents. It's up another 10%. So I need to see some more quarters of execution before I get back into DNA. But this was awesome. Thank you, 690 people being here. This is a new record for the live stream. We had 700 pretty much the entire time, so it means the world. Look, when we exit the stream, I don't know if Palantir gets hit to 15, but you can follow us on Twitter, and we'll be talking about if it hits to 15. If it does, I will break even. And I think a lot of people will be up a lot of money if we get to 15. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets there. Thank you guys, everybody, so much. Means the world to us. We'll see you on Finance Junkies tonight. Adam, we got to get you on a podcast soon. And we'll see you on the morning live stream tomorrow as well. Good night, everybody.
Take care.